How to prepare a yellowtail, the basic way of filleting in 3 pieces. I would like to explain how to fillet a yellowtail. This is the basic way of filleting, so if you memorize it, you'll be able to fillet the same way any size of fish. So master it well. Firstly, hold the head with your left hand and remove the scales with a scaler from the tail toward the head. Make sure to remove the scales well of the fin space, collar space, and of the belly part because the scales easily remain on those parts. Next, remove the same way the lower flesh scales. When removing the scales of the fin space, be careful not to prick your hand with the fin. The fin part has many germs, so if you don't deblood the pricked part, it may suppurate. Therefore, if you prick your hand, it is very important to wash well the pricked part with running water and deblood it well with your fingertips. After totally removing the scales, lightly rinse it off and let's move on the process of cutting off the head. Before cutting off the head, use the knife to check that there isn't any scales left. Place the head off to the left and using the blade edge, scrape the fish from the tail toward the head to remove the last scales. Make sure the blade angle doesn't surpass 90 degrees. When removing the scales of the fin space, use the tip of the knife. For the body, use the middle part of the knife, and for the fin and collar part on the near side, use the heel of the knife and you'll be able to remove them well. Using the tip, make an incision next to the belly fins part. The incision should be 1 to 2 cm depth at an angle of 45 degrees. The incision will vary according to the size of the fish. The more the fish is big, as the collar part is also used to make sushi, the collar part will be cut on an angle. Next, hold well the fish with your left hand and using the blade edge, cut open the fish from the vent toward the belly fins. At this time, make sure that the incision is connected with the one made next to the belly's fins part. Secondly, the head will be cut off, but before, lift the pectoral fin with your left hand and start incising from the back as it is fleshier than other parts. When incising the back, make sure it is deep enough to reach the spine. Slide the knife so the pectoral fin's incision connects with the belly fin's incision, but do not damage the guts. As there are guts on the belly side, you just have to cut the flesh surface. Flip the flesh and let's cut off the head of the lower flesh. Lift the pectoral fin and with the same angle you incise the upper flesh, incise it. The incision should look like a V letter when looking the fish from above. Next, lift well the pectoral fin and connect the pectoral fin's incision with the belly one. The upper flesh and the lower flesh is now connected with the spine. Cut through the spine with a steep angle of the knife. After cutting, keep holding the knife and push the flesh with the heel while you are pushing away the head and the guts. Cut off the guts at the base and place them on a tray. Flip the fish, open the upper flesh belly and make 3 incisions on the red flesh part. By making them, it will ease the cleaning. Using a tool named Sasara, scrape out the red flesh part. Roughly, scrape out toward the head, rotate the flesh, and then scrape out well toward the tail. If there are guts remaining, remove them at this time. This can be said to all fish. If the red flesh part still remains, your cutting board will be all covered with blood, so try to clean it as well as you can at this stage. Now, let's start the filleting. Wipe the fish, the red flesh part, and we start filleting from the lower flesh belly side. The tip here is to make an incision of 1 or 2 millimeters on the edge of the anal fin. Place the knife above the fin and using the whole length of knife, make an incision. The fish height is higher on the head side and lower on the tail side. Therefore, Adjust the knife to the angle of the incision. After the incision is made, fillet the fish until the spine. Keep the incision angle. Slide the knife on the backbone touching with the knife tip the spine and fillet until the tail. If the incision is not deep enough, incise again until you reach the spine. Rotate the fish now. When cutting the backside too, make an incision of 1 or 2 millimeters on the base of the back fin using the edge of the knife. At the second stroke, we will fillet until the spine. At this time, place the knife tip on the spine, fill it with the knife, and slide the knife on the backbone following the first incision you made. The trap here is that if you change the knife heel angle, or if the shinogi angle is too steep, it will change the angle of the tip and you may go under the bones with your knife. So follow the backbone with the shinogi angle when sliding the knife. Flip the knife and make an incision on the less fleshy tail part. Flip the knife again and keep the shinogi angle on the spine, and by sliding, separate it. At this time, with your left hand, press down the fish, but do not grab it. If you grab the tail, the fish is lifting upward, so it gets unstable. Hold the tail with your left hand and slide the knife toward the head, keeping the shinogi angle. After filleting, cut the tail part to separate it and flip the filleted lower flesh. Before filleting the upper flesh, let's review it again. Place the fish close to you on the cutting board. Place the tail at the lower left and let's fillet the lower flesh. Using the edge of the knife, make an incision of 1 to 2 millimeters from the base of the anal fin toward the tail. At the second stroke, place the edge of the knife on the incision and the tip of the knife filling the spine. Here the tip is to fill with the tip of the knife the spine, and that the heel of the knife does not lift up. Move the knife following the incision. Flip the fish and make an incision of 1 to 2 millimeters at the base of the back fin. At the second stroke, place the tip of the knife on the spine, the edge of the knife following the first incision, and slide it on the bones toward the head. Place the knife on the connected spine, flip it, and slide until the head, keeping the shinogi angle on the spine. Let's fillet the upper flesh now. When filleting the upper flesh, if you press the belly with your left hand, the flesh and bones become unstable. So by pressing it toward the back side, you can stabilize the bones. Make an incision of 1 to 2 millimeters with the edge of the knife. After the incision is made, at the second stroke, place the edge of the knife on the incision and the tip of the knife touching the spine. Keep the shinogi angle and fillet it until the tail. Incise the base of the anal fin the same way, and at the second stroke, touch the spine with the tip of the knife and the edge of the knife is following the incision, and fillet the belly side. Fillet only where there are bones because there is no bone on the guts part. Flip the knife and separate it from the spine. Hold the tail and slide the knife on the bone toward the head. For the upper flesh, use the tip of the knife when cutting the spine. In case of the lower flesh, even if you use the middle part of the knife, you do not damage the flesh as there are only guts in the depth. But in case of the upper flesh, if you do not use the tip, you may damage the backside flesh. The more you go toward the head, the more the spine gets thick. So use the tip or lift up a little bit the flesh and just cut the connected part of the rib. This is the movie that shows how to fillet in 3 pieces, the yellowtail, and the basic way of filleting in 3 pieces. For how to remove the belly bones, how to skin it off, and how to slice it, please check the other movies. Thank you for watching.
最後にこの動画の説明文を見てもらうと、東京寿司アカデミーのホームページや体験レッスン、 海外求人や寿司に関しての情報を発信するメルマガ等のリンクがございます。ぜひ合わせてご覧ください。その他チャンネル登録、その他 SNS サイトにもこちらの動画とともにいいねをしていただけると幸いです。ご視聴ありがとうございました。